Can you really start building wealth with just a little bit of money? I mean, seriously? That's probably one of the biggest questions out there. And in this explainer, we're going to break it down and show you exactly how it's done, step by step. There's this huge myth that stops so many people before they even start. It's the idea that investing is some exclusive club, only for the super wealthy. But you know what? That idea is just completely wrong. It's totally outdated. So just think about this for a second. What if you could actually start building your financial future with the same amount of money you might spend on dinner this weekend? What if 50 bucks was all it took to get the ball rolling? Well, it's not a trick question. It's the new reality of investing. Okay, real quick, an important note before we dive in. This is all for educational purposes. You should always do your own homework before making any financial moves. All right, with that said, let's get into the good stuff. So, where do you begin? Well, the very first step is actually pretty simple. You just have to choose the right platform. Think of this as your front door to the world of investing. It's the tool that makes everything else possible. The main point here is you just need a place to do the investing. It's kind of like opening a special bank account, but for your stocks and other investments. This is your gateway. And look, you do not need some crazy, complicated software that looks like something out of a Wall Street movie. Platforms like eToro, DEGIRO, or Trading 212, they're literally built for beginners. You sign up, get your account verified, and you're good to go. It is that straightforward. Okay, platform, check. Now, let's get to the part that really shatters that old myth about needing to be rich. Let's talk about how much you start with, and a much smarter way to begin. Now that you have your platform, the next move might sound a little backward, but it is so important. You start small. You absolutely 100% do not need thousands of dollars to get in the game. In fact, an amount just like $50, that's more than enough. That's all you need to take your first real meaningful step. And here's the secret sauce. Starting small isn't a weakness, it's a huge advantage. It lets you learn the ropes, see how the market moves up and down, and get comfortable with the whole process, all while risking way less of your hard-earned money. It's like learning to ride a bike with training wheels on. All right, you've got your platform, you've got your 50 bucks ready to go. So the next giant question is, what on earth do you actually invest in? Well, the answer is probably a lot simpler than you think.
Okay, step 3 is all about investing in companies that you already know and, understand. Please, whatever you do, do not overcomplicate this part. You don't need to be an expert on some tiny obscure company to get started.
Just start with the giants. I'm talking about huge, well-known companies like Apple, Microsoft, or Amazon. These are businesses you probably interact with every single day. And because you already get what they do, it's so much easier to feel confident in your investment, even when the market gets a little shaky. And that brings us to the final step. And I gotta say, this might be the most important one of them all. This isn't about what you click or what you buy. It's about your mindset. So here it is, the final principle. Think long-term. This one concept is pretty much what separates the people who succeed from all the beginners who just get frustrated and quit after a few months. So you can see there are really two paths you can take here. On one side, you have the get-rich-fast idea. That's a trap. It's all about chasing these huge, quick profits, and it almost always ends with people losing money. But then you have real investing. That's a completely different game. It's about being consistent and giving your money the one thing it really needs to grow: time. So we've covered the 4 steps, right? Choose a platform, start small, invest in what you know, and play the long game. But what does that actually look like? I mean, what's the reward for being so patient? Let's look at the magic of compounding. If you invest a small amount, let's say just that $50, but you do it every single month, at first, it's not going to look like much, but over 5 years, 10 years, or even longer, that tiny, consistent investment starts to snowball into thousands. That's your money literally making more money all by itself. So at the end of the day, this whole thing isn't about buying a lottery ticket and hoping you get lucky. It's about building real, actual wealth through steady, patient, and consistent effort. It really is a marathon, not a sprint. So when you put it all together, it becomes pretty clear. You don't need to be rich to start investing. You don't need to be some kind of financial wizard. You just need to take that first step. The single most important thing you can do for your future is to simply start.